Good day, my friends. Buongiorno, ragazzi. What a night. What a day. I hope you are doing great today. I'm telling you right now, many of us are still reeling from such a wonderful evening we had with the incredible Baron Coleman. That was wonderful, and thank you so much for making it so much fun. I had one of the best times ever. What a guy. What a guy. What a guy. We covered so much. Hey, look, Lionel, I just want to say that every widow celebrates differently. Duchess, you are so correct. You are so correct. I mean it. This is the part which is the most important. And I want to cover a number of things tonight. First, is it safe to say, contrary to what many people think, that I don't think you hate Erika Kirk? Is that fair? Is that fair? Do you hate her? I don't. Do you hate her? Is this about hate? Do you wish something bad happened to her? I don't. Is this hatred? Is this enmity? Or do we wonder and question the sagacity, the lunacy of this behavior on her part? But I don't hate her. I don't like this personality. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know why she's. I certainly don't like what she's trying to intimate regarding Candace. I don't like what she's saying about us. I don't like I don't like the way she's acting. I don't like the way she's besmirching. I think you're trying to Shanghai and to hijack the image of Charlie. But I don't hate her. If I point something out, whether I like her or not, it doesn't mean. Let me give you an example. Let's assume in the course of discussion that AOC were to do something, we say, you know what, this is pretty good. By the way, AOC gave some incredibly important statements regarding kid safety and predation and digital safety or whatever it was. Now, does that mean I like her? No. We call it the way it is. There was an article today about from Axios, and it dealt with the fact that in the United States, Bibi has absolutely tanked. His image is just cratering. Does that mean we don't like Israel or anti-Semitic? No. Excellent episode with Baron. Top class. Thank you. It was wonderful. Just because you point something out doesn't mean you don't like. We've got to stop this childish way of looking at it. The president is absolutely, I think, disconnected regarding what's going on in Iran. Disconnected regarding the Strait of Hormuz. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I don't think he has any idea of what he's doing. I think he's listening. He's over his head. And if anybody doubts for a moment that this was done at the behest of Bibi Netanyahu, you're not paying attention. And it doesn't mean you're anti-Semitic. This has nothing to do with Judaism. We're not talking about this. This is the problem that people are having and have had with what is referred to more and more as the Zionist issue. I think you deal with Israel as a country, as a state, you might want to say, whether it's France or whether it's Germany, or whether it's Canada. We trash Canada all the time. And it was Trudeau. And we talk about France and Macron and NATO. We're constantly talking about countries. Constantly. And nobody's ever suggested that we are Francophobes or anything like that. So this has to stop immediately. I officially call bullshit to this idea that somehow if you were to say something, because this is how they grabbed you for so long. This is how they kept you quiet, saying anything. They want to shut you down. If you say anything involving race, if you say, wait a minute, there's a big problem. I remember one time talking about the collapse of the African American or the black family and how it's becoming matricentric and how single fathers and everything. They said, you're a racist. It doesn't work anymore. You can't do that. You can't say I'm a racist if I'm pointing out what's obvious. It's one of those things that doesn't make any sense. If I point something out that's true. Caitlyn Jenner wants to have on her passport her sex being female versus male. Once and for all. You can think anything you want. You can call yourself an onion ring. You can say whatever you want. Doesn't matter. But you are born male or female, born that way. And you can change things later, and you can whatever, and that's terrific. But when it comes to the designation for purposes of your gender, a la documents, census, you're male or female. That's it. It's like you're born in the United States. You're born to these parents. You're born. You can argue about race. Is Barack Obama black? Well, yeah, sort of. Is he white? Yeah. Could he put himself down as white? Maybe. With an asterisk. See, we can talk about that all day long. We can talk about that all day long. You could say, for example, let's say your parents are born in Italy, your mom and dad are in Italy, your family's in Italy, your brothers and sisters, and you come over and you go to Disney World, and lo and behold, your mother gives birth to you in Orlando. Are you an American citizen? Are you an American? What do you think about that? Are you an American because you were born, you happen to be squeezed out in Orange County, Florida? We might want to discuss that one. We might want to discuss that. I mean, there's some things you might be able to discuss. Gender is not one of them. And it doesn't mean that we are transphobic or any of that stuff. We don't give, nobody here gives, you can walk around as a mollusk, as a cetacean. You can be a seahorse. I don't care. Call yourself a little pony. But when it comes down to documents and somebody looks at you, you are born. It's like your height, your weight. You might feel differently. You might say, well, wait a minute, this says 245, but I have a 1% body fat. Great. You weigh 245 pounds. You're also 7'3". That means something. I didn't say you were fat. I didn't say anything. I'm saying you weigh 245 pounds. That's it. It's not subject to debate. You can't argue against this. Gravity, mg, mass times gravitational, 9.8 millimeters per second squared, gravitational coefficient. You can't argue these things. So we're going to have to call things the way it is. So they tried to call us transphobic. They tried to call us racist. If we say things about women where they called us sexist, we tried this, or misogynistic. White nationalist. Those days are over. Over. You understand? Over. We're not going to talk about them. It is ridiculous. We refuse to be a part of this conversation anymore. And if I want to say what the president's doing in the Middle East is stupid, I'm going to be able to say it without somebody saying I'm un-American or anti-Semitic or whatever the hell it is. It's ridiculous. Our good friend Joseph says, you think we ever will know the truth regarding Charlie Kirk's death? No. No. You are never going to know the truth regarding Charlie Kirk's death. Never. Never. Somebody is going to come forward and have to say, here's what happened. The people who did this are the only people who are involved and who can tell you this. They're not going to tell you this. Tyler Robinson doesn't know. Nobody in his party knows. No, but we don't know. But we can tell you this. We can tell you what didn't happen. And the narrative that is being presented to us that Tyler Robinson on his own walked down solely without, that never happened. That did not happen. You understand what I'm saying? That did not happen. If you give me a pregnancy test, not me, but if you give me a urine sample and I go like that, I go, nope, negative. Does that mean the person never had sex? I don't know. Does that mean the person can't get pregnant? I don't know. Does that mean that the person may be 85 years old? And I don't know. I don't know. Could this person have had maybe a a hysterectomy? I don't know. All I can tell you is that this narrative, this sample, no, this sample, this person could be a man. I don't know. Could be a model. Could be a dog. This is not pregnant with a human being. That's all I know. Period. Time for the woke to take a nap. Oh yes, the woke. You don't know how far we have gone, dear friends. You have no idea how far we have gone. You have no idea how powerful we are today. Now, as to the issue of the Charlie Kirk case, I can tell you this unequivocally, that what happens at this stage is a different story. What are they going to find out regarding the trial? Do we have a good judge? Are they going to let the wrong stuff in? I thought Barron had some great points. I didn't disagree with anything, and he said at all. I want to clarify with you, though, this preliminary hearing, this stuff that you're seeing right now is bullshit. I'm saying bullshit a lot because it is. I can't think of any other word. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's not the trial. That's not the trial. That's just enough to see whether you even get into the courtroom. When you walk into a court and you have a traffic ticket, a speeding ticket, all that speeding ticket says is, well, this lands me in court. It has jurisdiction. I was served this. It alleges I was speeding in the school zone. I don't think I was, but that's all we know. And if you go before a judge and say, Judge, do I even have to be here? Let me see that ticket. Yep, you do. This has met the minimum requirements of getting you in court. As opposed to, Judge, would you look at this ticket? What is this? This is the ticket they gave me. Your name's not on here. I know. Your car's not on here. Your license plate, license tag, time, place, venue. No. If this is the case, tear it up, dismissed. It does not state a cause of action. That's legal talk for it. It doesn't even get you into court. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't do anything. You don't even have to answer this. Go, leave, done. You're finished. That's all this is. Do we have enough? Is there enough evidence here for Tyler Robinson to even put on a case? Yeah, I could have told you that. Why? Because the judge is elected. And there's something there. It's called probable cause. Probable cause means, class, he probably did it. Means nothing. Probable cause. What's the difference between probable cause and prima facie? On its face, for, I don't know, they act like there's a difference. Well, prima facie is probably the easiest burden to satisfy. Okay. Probable cause, well, that's reasonable suspicion. Well, that's different. In order to stop somebody, there's a case, Terry against Ohio. You heard about the Terry stop and frisk, that kind of thing. In order for a police officer to stop you, to say, come here, hold it, stop. What are you doing here? What are you, that talking to you business? There has to be at least a reasonable suspicion that a crime has been committed, is being committed, is about to be committed. And it might not even be just a crime. It could be just an infraction. It could be something else. But for purposes of Terry, what's a reasonable suspicion? Is it probable cause? No. It's reasonable suspicion. What does that mean? Is it less than probable cause? How less? What does that mean? I don't know. We use these terms all the time. How about this? Reasonable doubt. Oh, no. Reasonable doubt is way up there. You don't have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. How about clear and convincing? Clear and convincing. What the hell is that? Proof, evident, presumption, great. What the hell do all these things mean? I don't know. I can give you an answer, but I can't tell you one from the other. The Duchess says, Lionel, did you hear about Kash Patel's drinking? Do you think his guilt is getting to him? Perhaps he'll talk. Oh, we'll see about that. And by the way, dear Lori Cuck, who says, I'm following along. Lori, where have you been, Missy? Lori's been with us since day one. Kash Patel is falling apart. Read the Atlantic. Read everything. Now they're saying, "Well, that's the Atlantic. They're liberal." Okay. Read what they have to say. Is it bullshit? I'm saying it again now. Is it? Is it really? There's nothing to it. He sure acts like it. What would you do if somebody said, "I think you're drinking too much"? You say, "Oh, please stop it." You just move on. I don't have time for this. And you just. But he goes, "I'm going to sue. How dare you?" Ooh, when there's smoke, there's fire. Did we hit a nerve there, Cashy? He's incompetent. He's a little boy. I'm getting laid. Cash, take it easy. You don't understand. Look at me. This chick, this country chick, I'm getting laid. She's tearing it up. The high hard one. Knocking the bottom out of that. And I'm not going to let you get in the way with it. And guess what? I can bring an FBI plane. Can you do that? No. So sure I drink. If you look like me, you would too. You should see me on the firing range. You don't want to go skeet shooting with me. I'm getting laid. You're not going to take that away from me. That hurts. Thank you very much. Thank you. See, I perform for you. Then we got, hey guys. I mean, we have the weirdest. You notice who's smart? Dan Bongina. He's gone. He says, I'm out of here. He was smart enough to realize I am going. I am not doing well with this. I'm getting the hell out of here. I am weird. I'm a freak. I'm out of here. He's the smartest one here. Bobby Kennedy. See what's going on with him? Oh, he's losing it. Rumors have it. I'm not saying it's true. People are saying Parkinson's. He's shaking, they say. He's just, I don't know what's going on. He and his wife, they got all kinds of, you hear this stuff. Bobby Kennedy is not well and never has been. And he's a Kennedy and he's talking about raccoon penises. I don't know what's true or what's not. He does nothing for me. I just hope Charlie is who we thought. I think he was. Pete Hegseth's Pulp Fiction prayer. Oh, another one too. Pete Hegseth. What is going on with these people? They're jokes. What is Trump doing? Seriously, does anybody have any? The best thing he did, but they just see Joe Rogan in the White House talking about using hallucinogenics or whatever to perhaps help with the PTSD, which I laud 100%. You can't go wrong with that one. What is happening here? This is the stress. These people are nuts. Say what you want about Bill Barr. Say what you want about, or maybe Bill Barr was ours, but say what you want about Anthony Blinken, they acted like they were, Merrick Garland acted like an attorney general. He acted like it. He didn't act like a fool. He might have said some things. The only one they ever had was Kamala, who spoke this gibberish. By the way, speaking of Bobby Kennedy, whatever happened to him, Mr. Anti-Vaxxer? All he's talking about is red dye number 3 and blue indigo or methylene blue or whatever. This is weird. This is strange. I've never been a fan. I don't know what he's doing. You saw Marty McCary was standing there, who would have been great. I think that President Trump's his downfall that he likes people he thinks are famous and cool, like Hegseth doing his push-ups. Hegseth, by the way, who is doing everybody. Look, I can't do any pull-ups or any of that stuff. I can barely. I just don't. That's not my thing. I never said I would. That's not my deal. You don't listen to me for how many pull-ups I can do. But I guarantee you what he does, he's kicking and he's cheating. It's like, If you're not going to do it, don't do it. I don't understand. Are we children? Moon Goddess says the grieving widow has been one of the most sacred labels that society as a whole bestows on someone. Erika has destroyed and made a mockery of it. Sad. You're right. I don't know. Listen, I am not going to say that she's not grieving, but I wouldn't be surprised if she never did. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm serious. I'll explain this in a moment. How could Charlie not see? Oh, Charlie, you want to hear the truth? I'll tell you the truth. Sometimes I don't think Charlie was that experienced. And frankly, I don't think Charlie, for all we know, never had a piece of ass in his life. I'm sorry. You've seen it before. Have you ever had this? Ever seen somebody all of a sudden say you get a hold of a woman who can, my God, who can just wrap you up in knots. You know what I mean? And you're going to lose your mind. You don't see that as being possible? Corianne says, you have such a wonderful way with words. Happy to support the channel. Thank you. Thank you for what you add to the discourse. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Sometimes my words may seem a bit concupiscent, a bit scabrous, a bit caprolalic, but it's real. It's the truth. It's the truth. I think there is nothing worse. I believe that there should be a degree of sowing one's oats, so to speak. Who's out next, Pete or Cash? Oh, Cash. Cash is gone. Cash is gone. Because Cash was in the realm of Pam Bondi. She was AG. He's under her. If the top went, he goes. Pete has to stay because we're in the middle of a war, military action, and it's not good to change in midstream. He's going to have a lot of people advising him that you're not going to know the name of. If President Trump's smart, he'll bring people in. You say, Pete, do me a favor. We'll let you go out there and do your push-ups. But you see these guys with the uniforms? Yeah, they're going to be talking to you. These are West Point graduates. And bless your heart, you went to Princeton or Harvard, and that's great. And you were in the National Guard, and God bless you. And you were on the morning show at Fox. But that dog don't hunt. You don't have it, my friend. This is not your bailiwick, but we're not going to embarrass you. And I don't want to do this in person when the whole world's looking at us by us changing the Secretary of War, which is the stupidest name ever. So he'll stay there. Oh, but Cash is done. You see, the thing is, when you embarrass Trump, when you embarrass him, that's another story. But I want to say one thing about Charlie. Some men never, ever, ever go through this period of time when I'm sorry to say this, when you find yourself really wrapped up in sexual fury, as it were. Laurie says, do you think Erika was trained to get Charlie? She was trained her whole life to get somebody. Charlie was the latest. He was in the crosshairs. Thank you. Says, I think Pete's going to be the fall guy. No, not now. Pete cannot be it. Not when there's a war going on. Pete is not calling the shots. When you have Bibi and you have a lot of people and NATO and all this stuff, and you change the Secretary of War, you're implying he screwed up. You're implying that something went wrong. And by the way, the Strait of Hormuz is one thing. The Bab el-Mandeb, the gate of grief, that's going to be the second one with the Houthis. But you cannot do that. Pete is going to have people watch him. They're going to have people monitor him. They're going to have people who are second chairing him. You understand what I'm saying? They can't do this. Cash is worthless. He's botching everything because they're also cranking up more about he made a fool out of himself at the hockey game. He said he's acting like a fool where he's upset that, put it this way, the best way to deal with somebody who's accusing you of drinking too much is just laugh it off, not make a big deal about it. But I want to go back and think about Charlie Kirk. If you have boys, young men, listen, Girls and boys, let me tell you something, and you know this. When you are growing and developing, that was a big thing in my house. My sister, your sister's developing. She's developing. Okay, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing? Well, she's developing. Lori Cook says, learning about Erika's past just makes Charlie's murder even worse. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. I want to make sure we understand something. I do not believe, thank you, I do not believe that she had anything to do with any of this. Okay? I'm going to make sure we understand something here. I don't think there's any evidence. Could be. Anything's possible. Hell, Barron Trump could be involved in it. Though I'm not saying it, but there's no evidence of that either. I do not believe anybody in TPUSA directly, any of the names that you know, directly were involved in it. I don't believe anybody in the White House was involved in 9/11. I don't think Cheney, I don't think Bush ever directly was saying, all right, bring the tower down. They could have known about it. They might not have been surprised by it. They might have been, for lack of a better word, kind of tangentially aware, but as far as actively being involved, no way. Flatbed Hustler says we need to focus more on Brian Harpole and what happened inside of the SUV. Well, remember, this has nothing to do with the trial. Okay? And Laurie's right, it's a waste. Remember, we're never going to get it. What many of you are talking about is never going to be dealt with in terms of the trial. None of it. That's for something else. That is, let me explain this. There is going to be a second type of independent analysis, a tribunal, like the Russell Tribunal or the Sartre Tribunal, which happened after after the Vietnam War. Candace will do this. You know how they have Candace had the Brigitte files, or Becoming Brigitte, or Tucker has the BB files. Or there's going to be, she is going to put together, she has to do this, the comprehensive story from soup to nuts of who she is. This is for posterity, of who Erika is and was, who Laurie found, her family, how that merged, how Charlie, how she might have been when they met in Israel, that might have been organized. But do not, listen to me carefully, do not confuse something that is interesting with something that's critical. Do not, if you find, so maybe Laurie was at Fort Huachuca. Maybe okay, is that critical to the murder case? No. It goes to show you perhaps the foundation of who these people are, how they've lied about it. Does it matter that Erika was doing an industrial for CIA, for EMP, for electromagnetic pulses, and working with, is that important for the murder case? No. Is it important for the narrative? Yes. Absolutely. Does it matter that Erika lied before about not dating and not drinking and for the murder case? No. For the narrative? Yes. It goes to the issue of her mendacity, her lying, how she created out of nowhere this false, phony, and ridiculous storyline. You see what I'm saying? Those are important. The McCoys, the Covett, all those people. Does it matter to this case whether she lied about receiving threats? No, not to the murder case. But it does matter as part of the narrative. And what she did was, do you know what it is when you openly allege a crime that did not occur? Filing a false criminal report, claiming, it's like yelling fire in a crowded theater, or a theater in a crowded fire. She basically said she was the subject of threats. So people who were there are thinking, wait a minute, this could have caused a rampage, fear. Well, Is she going to, perhaps, are they going to cancel further events because, let's say, a vendor might say, I'm going to lose my insurance? You don't say this. It was pretty clear. Secret Service found no such threat. JD Vance sure as hell didn't have any problem with this. This guy came back from Islamabad. So somebody's got to say, hey, Cash, if I say that I received threats and it never happened, am I subject to criminal prosecution? You better believe it. John says, you missed my comment about Rogan. Oh, let me go back. I'm so sorry. Dear God. Let me see. Hang on a second. Let me get this one about Rogan. Just a second. Rogan. I don't know where this Rogan one was. I'm going to get this. By God. Hang on a minute. I'm going to get your comment about Rogan. By the way, Joe Rogan is, I've always liked that guy. I'm sorry. He has changed his mind. He is, let me see. I'm trying to find this. I want to get to this. I want to get this. Anybody who dares ask a question, I want to get to this. Oh, as Trump was signing the bill, Rogan is standing behind him. Lost respect for Rogan. No, not really. Plausible deniability. No. Are you going to lose respect for Rogan? Joe Rogan has said for the longest time, I admire him for this. Joe Rogan has been an advocate for using psychedelics and alternative medication to help people with PTSD and the like. I've always suggested MDMA, which is Molly or ecstasy, is critical. It's a wonder drug to help people, but because of the negative nature of it. So this has been his thing, and he told Trump, he said, I want you to do this. So he was there. No, I thought it was very, very important. Remember, Trump is the president of the United States. Joe Biden was the president of the United States. He's not a Democratic he's the president of the United States. So I say hats off to Joe, and we need this. Momo says, we may never know who did this, and justice may never be served. This feels like a spiritual battle. How do you think we would ever find out who did this? How do you think? Are we contemplating something simple? Way too many characters to keep so many secrets? Are we over contemplating or complicating something simple? Absolutely. You can focus on something to such an extent where you start giving it legs and you start giving it tendrils. And it's almost like in tumor therapy, it's called angiogenesis, where you grow blood vessels to support it. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Lisa says, can we get a Candace, Barron, Jesse, Lionel, Ian, and Zach group membership, please? Wow. That would be tremendous. I've been wondering where Ian has been. Maybe I've been missing this. Jesse's wonderful. Colin is great. So many great people. I mean it. I meant that yesterday when I told Barron. I feel like I'm in awe of my. I feel like we're part of a kinship, the sisterhood of the whatever the hell it's called. You are not going to find out. First, let me ask you something. I'm going to ask you, who was responsible for this? Do you think it was government? Do you think it was private? Do you think it was somebody within TPUSA? None of the people that we know. The question is, cui bono, cui prodest? Who benefits? Who benefits? I'm going to throw you some questions. Do you think, let's go with this. Oh, and Colin, of course. I know I was forgetting someone. Oh, yes. Colin is absolutely tremendous. Lori says, Charlie Kirk murder location looks like a stage, as did Trump's shooting event, like a setup. Well, so many questions here. Too many questions. Number one, If somebody wanted to eliminate Charlie, let me say I go to you. Let me rephrase it. I'm the guy. Let's say I'm a sicario. I'm a jackal. There's this wonderful word, not this wonderful word, but in Mossad, there's a name for, oh God, it's called, it's for the assassin. There's a name, it's called, Kedon. It means bayonet or spearhead. Kedon operates under the Caesarea branch. This is Mossad. Mossad elite unit responsible for is KIDON. That's the group. So if I was with the Kedon, I would ask you, okay, who is your target? It's Charlie. Okay. What do you want? Well, we want him eliminated. Epstein, whoever it is. Okay. How would you like it done? Would you like him just to disappear? Or do you want it to be splashy? Do you want to send a message? Or do you want it just to be, because it could just disappear. A lot of things can happen. An event, robbery, sniper, people are moving around. He's not under. Same thing with Epstein. Epstein could have been removed so easily. All of a sudden, he would have not even been noticed. In fact, you would have read something in the paper, or this is the paper. You would have heard in the news. You would say, by the way, financier or whatever, Jeffrey Epstein is missing. See, I like missing. Missing is the best. Jimmy Hoffa, missing. I don't want anything found. I don't want any forensics. Nothing. Zero. People call it, they think it's corpus delicti. It's not. That's the body of the crime. Corpus delicti is used in confession law. When you introduce a confession, there has to be a corpus delicti. They have to be proof of a crime. The word is used correctly. I prefer that. All of a sudden. Now, if Charlie were to disappear, it's a different story. Just Jessica says, why is everyone so quiet about Vance being an Israeli puppet? He's been backed by Thiel from the very beginning, and people act like the connection means nothing. Just Jessica, you are absolutely 100% correct. 100% correct. And Duchess says, are the nuclear scientists missing? No. Oh, they're missing, but they have been missed. Let me tell you something. We have something. This is the most important part. Yes, Sisterhood of the Traveling Leather Pants. Kinky, but good. Peter Thiel, Palantir. Listen to me. Let me see if I can explain this. And this is the best I can. Just Jessica, this is for you. America doesn't want to hear this. They don't know what you're talking about. Okay? We know what you're talking about. I would have picked up the phone if I were Trump, and I would have told Bibi, if you ever say, ever, that I report to you or that my vice president reports to you, I will cut your balls off and hand them to you. Or better yet, I'm going to gold plate them like you gave me that beeper, and I'm going to send them to you. We were told who was the assassin, remember? Well, we were putatively told, but not really. But let me explain, going back to what you said, and this is important. I don't want to say this to Jessica. What he said was, when you have Bibi Netanyahu who says he reports to me, and the United States reports to me daily, oh, no. Oh, no. Don't you ever. And you better get on the phone right now and correct this. Von Ankem, Palantir is evil. The evilest of the evil. The evilest of the evil. You have no earthly idea what Peter Thiel is. Absolutely. And Vance is his bitch. And you know it and I know it. Try talking to, by the way, have you ever tried explaining this to your relatives, your friends, and look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who, Palin, what? They don't even know what AI is. They think it's an app. They think it's a robot. No, seriously. They think it's, I don't know what they think. These people, honest to God, think it's some kind of a, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I really don't know if they understand what it is. You've got people. Well, let me just tell you something. You saw the Axios story, right? Check out the Axios story about what Bibi's doing in this country. Oh, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Sometimes people push it. And this time like nobody's business, have people pushed it. Every now and then, somebody loses the narrative. To wit, you notice how people don't go crazy over communism anymore? Why do you think that is? WrestleMania without Vince sucks. Well, WrestleMania has sucked. WrestleMania is I'm sorry, that's not even WrestleMania. It's not even wrestling. I don't know what that is. But anyway, do you understand what this is? And thank you, by the way. Do you understand what's happening? Communism doesn't make any sense. Fascism doesn't make any sense. These words don't mean anything. So when you talk about this, when Americans, young people in particular, say, wait a minute, explain to me what's going on. Yes, we must attack Iran. Why? Because they say terrible things about us. And? What do you mean and? And? Well, they're close to getting a nuclear weapon. You mean like other countries? Oh, no, wait. No, they can't have one. Why? Because they can't. Because they're evil. They're crazy. Why are they crazy? Quit asking me questions. They're crazy. Other countries have it. I know. Israel has them. I know. You notice how that, nobody even, was it Demona? No, nobody ever even mentioned it before. They didn't even hint at it. Now they say, okay, so we got it. Lionel, why do you think ATF and FBI aren't giving the defense necessary documents to discovery? Well, first of all, number one, I don't understand this. I don't understand any of this. And I'm wondering, why is the FBI even involved in this state murder? I guess maybe they did. And number two, all they have to do is give you the wrong stuff. It's sloppy. I mean, listen, if you don't want to give them the wrong evidence, give them the wrong, put it this way. If you're going to say there's no connection and you've said it once, give them the documents. Unless you're going to lie, if you say, oh, no, they're going to hear, we found, wait a minute, here we go. Oh, this, here we go. Yeah, it's like the magic bullet. Remember the bullet with JFK that they found in the gurney? Remember that one? Oh, here it is. The pristine bullet. Remember that one? See, you got to understand something. These people love to basically, they want to look you right in the eye. Remember the other one, kiss me. Remember that one line, kiss me. I want to be kissed when I'm being, because they don't even kiss you. They just love it. JFK, they pulled out this procedure. The brain was missing. They love doing that. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. We can tell you anything. The American people, you can tell them anything. So anyway, so imagine going to young people and saying, you don't understand. We're going to go to war. We're going to go to war with Iran because they say terrible things, because there are people in the street. There are people in the street that say death to America. I said, but they say death to America here. I know, but what? You want to go to war because they say this? Well, they could. Try going to get a warrant. Try going to a judge and saying, I want to go into that person's house because they might have a gun. They could get a gun. There could be drugs in there. They might get drugs. They've talked about drugs before. What are you talking about? Pullman, you got me there. Says Erika Kirk is something. Poor Charlie might turning around in the coffin right now, in my opinion. I don't think he knew what hit him. I don't think he knew what hit literally. And I think he believed in this idea that he was doing something good and that somehow he was blessed or protected. And I'm sorry. So going back to what I said before, if I'm a Kedon, I'm going to say, what do you want to do? You want me to go away? No. Do you want to put on a production? Yeah. Why? You want it to be big? Okay. Why? I just want it to be a public, like a Dallas, like a Butler. Okay. All right. What do you want the narrative to be? You got a patsy? What's that? A patsy. You got somebody who's there? You got somebody who's there? Well, we got one for you. Who is that? Who found uh Tyler Robinson? Who found him? No, I'm serious. Who found this guy, this transgender, little crazy? So remember, you want somebody who's a little crazy. You don't want a physician. You don't want somebody who's a head of, like the parts manager of a Jiffy Lube, or you want somebody who's a little crazy. So here's this guy, because why? So you can always off him, and you can always say, well, he was crazy. He was crazy. The guy was stooping this guy with a fuzzy hat, and calling him Luna. Remember you NWA fans in Tampa? Remember Luna? Luna was Vivian Vachon. Remember that? Mad Dog and Butcher Vachon's sister. In any event, you want to get him? You got to get a patsy. Well, I got a patsy for you. Yeah, I got a patsy. How do you know that? We just do. Ask him, where did he come from? Where did this guy who happened to have a 30-06, happen to have this rifle that his granddaddy gave him, his shooting iron, a grandpappy gave him, where does this come from? Tired of, I like this, tired of the drama class writing the narrative. It's a pretty good one though, in a way. What about the ATF and FBI not releasing the docs? Isn't that illegal? Well, let me tell you what's illegal. And you bring up a good point. Look up the case Brady against Maryland. Brady v. Maryland. This is the Supreme Court case that says you have to turn over exculpatory, meaning evidence that exculpates versus inculpates, that proves the innocence of a defendant. If you don't do this, you could have the case dismissed. You better believe it. So what happens is you're not turning it over. It's one thing when you're hiding it. They're so bold. They're saying, oh, we've got it. We're just not giving it to you. As opposed to, oh, shit, we made a mistake. I'm sorry. Okay. No, they're deliberately telling you, we don't want you to have this. Somebody's getting really high and mighty here. Now, let me ask you the question. Where did Tyler come from? Out of all the people in the world, who knew him? Because if I'm the Kedon, I'm going to say, okay, listen, I got a guy for you. Don't ask me where he's from. His name, you'll find it is Tyler Robinson. And this guy is a real piece of work. This guy has got this kind of a tranny, so to speak, transgender girlfriend, boyfriend. This guy, Twigs, old Luna, Junebug, whatever his nickname is. And he's going to claim, I don't like what you said about this hateful stuff. Okay. You notice how even the reaction from I keep calling him Junebug. Luna, you did what? I did it for you. You did what for me? I got rid of Charlie. Why? Because he said terrible things about, everybody says terrible things. What did he say? He was kind of a nice guy. What? I mean, what? You got rid of him? There's other people who are worse. Why would you get him? No, don't make him a martyr. No, it makes us look crazy. What? Why'd you do that? Because I love you? You're stupid. Why are you doing this? Whoever thought through this? Boise Jet Guy says, 6 months ago, Cash said he didn't want to release evidence hang on. 6 months ago, Cash said he didn't want to release evidence once early as not to hurt prosecution. Now that it's time to show his cards, stories come out that he's drinking too much. Yeah. Well, listen, he's not the only one in charge of this. Isn't that sad? Hey, I'm Cash. I'm getting laid. All of a sudden, you know that girlfriend, that country music singer, her agent's going to be saying, do me a favor, lose cockeyed here. What are you talking about? No way. Your career's through. He's hated. Oh yeah. Wait till Cash gets a word. Listen, he gets the Dear John. Listen, Cash, I gotta give you the heave ho. I gotta step back from this. Why? You're a nut. You're a drunk. You're a nut. And you're weird looking. And what? What? Gotta go, my friend. ADOs. You can't leave me. Then he'll go berserk. Berserk. Can you imagine that? Oh my God, dear Lord. Kaio says, maybe he could investigate those open uranium mines on the Navajo reservation next, located by Cameron, Arizona. Government denies they dug them. What about the uranium that we're going to buy from Iran for what, 20 billion that Obama had for secured for the JCPOA? Remember that one? But let me go back to this. By the way, I love this. And please, thank you for keeping up with me because I'm thinking all this stuff. Let me go back to this. I got a guy for you. His name is Tyler Robinson. His grandfather has a rifle. Guess what we're going to use? The rifle. How are you going to get it there? I'll get it there. So we're going to get him there. We got to get him there somehow. He's got to be there. Only he can testify. Tyler, why were you there? Because this man told me he was going to meet me. Can you imagine that? Tyler, were you there to take anybody out? No. Me? No. I might want to, protest or something, or maybe somebody else might. Me? Look at me. Me? I'm good. Let me get this straight. I'm this guy. I got my girlfriend. I just want to hang out and play games, but I'm going to throw it all away because they're going to get my ass or finish me in the crossfire in order to make a point to what? Win favor with you? Look at me. Does this look like me? What if he said, I was there for another reason, but that wasn't it? Oh, I was there all right. Why do you think I was so? You saw me at this car wash and you saw whatever it is at the Dairy Queen. Why do you think I look so cool? Because I wasn't. Do I look like a hitman? Me? Roman, I believe, says, what about the bullet? Technically speaking, the bullet does not belong to the executor weapon. Let's put it that way. No. First of all, what bullet? There is no bullet. It's a bunch of stuff. It's a jacket. It's a hat. You mean from the other 30-06? You mean the 30-06? Because don't be surprised. Because whoever does it, remember, if I'm the guy, I'm going to say, oh, we'll use a 30-06, or at least ostensibly use that, if that's what was done. We're going to make sure Granddaddy's rifle's there. He's got his prints on it. And then later on, what about this? Don't be surprised if Tyler says, I don't know who wrote any of this stuff. What? I didn't write this. Get this? I did this because it's me. I didn't do this. I didn't say this. What about that? I didn't write this. Yeah, it's me. Hey, critter. Hey, fuzzy head, whatever. Luna. No, I didn't write this. It's not my, hey, can you get my rifle back? Can you go and get it? I didn't write this. What about that? Is that possible? You damn right it's possible. But what if Tyler says, wait a minute, think about this. Let's just assume, okay? Let's just assume. Look at this. Ivan says, if current executive conduct constitutes compelled disclosure of concealed governmental corruption, it may invoke inherent Article 2 investigative authority. If current executive conduct constitutes compelled disclosure of concealed governmental corruption, it may invoke inherent Article 2 investigative authority. Meaning on the part of Trump? Where Trump under Article 2? I'm not sure I understand what that means, but I like it. I like this. Let me go back to what I was saying. And thank you, by the way. Thank you for this. Thank you. What if he says, I don't know what this is. I don't know anything about this. What if he said, hey, listen, Fuzzy. And by the way, this Twigs character, you better watch his ass. Because the first question I'm going to ask him, as I mentioned to Lance, I'm going to say, did anybody immunize you? Did anybody grant you? Did anybody suggest to you? That you be immune from any testimony? Because what you're doing is you're basically admitting to aiding and abetting, counseling, procuring, or hire of being an accomplice. Because remember, Tyler's charged with witness tampering, and that's the witness. And this guy says, okay, did you call the police? Did you do anything? No, you didn't do anything. So I think you might have been, they might use this as leverage to get him to testify in a particular way. I hope he doesn't buy the green bananas either. If you know what I mean. Lengitis says, I heard a theory. Trump is purposely doing all this and placing Kushner as the fall guy in Iran's souring negotiations. Weird. I don't believe it. No, I kind of don't believe it either, but I do know that Trump is not one to say, I did it. It's me. As opposed to, Lutnick. What does he know about this? These people have never, I don't understand any of this stuff. You're negotiating with imams and mullahs, and I don't get any of it. But let's go back to this again. Tyler gets on the stand, which is crazy, but theoretically, just humor me, and says, why would I give up my life with my love for this crazy cockamamie idea? And why would I want her? Why would I be talking to her when I'm saying, don't talk to anybody, turn yourself in, get a lawyer? And I'm talking to you? And I'm even telling you, can you go get this rifle? Or I left it over there. I'm involving you in this. I want you. I would have cut all connection with you. Why would I admit anything? I would have said nothing. Goodbye, cruel world. This is my valedictory. Was this a part of that failed attempt on his part? Remember that second, there were two narratives. The story was going to be where he was going to say, hey, listen, I can't live my life in a prison. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be, that's it. I'm going to do myself in. I'm going to say goodbye, cruel world, in some kind of whatever, top of the world kind of a thing. That was the original plan. Then later on, he double crossed them by saying, I'm going to turn myself in. Maybe all of this texting was pursuant to the second theory. You notice how all of a sudden how he writes so thoroughly, so fully, so with such explication and everything. It's not his usual. It's not his usual thing. Why is he doing that? Why is he writing this way? It doesn't make any. It doesn't. But if he takes a stand and he says, "I never wrote any of this stuff. I never wrote any of this stuff." You know how easy it would be for somebody to say, yeah, "I'll take care of that." Remember, I'm the Kedon. I'm the guy. I'm the man. And I'm not saying Israel's involved. I'm using that term. What if I pick up the phone and say, well, how do I do this? Easy. I got connections. Hey, Cook, whatever it is, Tim from Apple, or if it's a phone or text or Android, I can have it say anything you want. You can authenticate and say, yep, it came from his phone, and you'll say, I don't know what this is. Then he's going to write a letter. Now think about this. He's writing a letter. How many people do you know when they're 20 sit down and write a letter? A letter? A note? They don't even write. Kids don't even write. They have no handwriting. And he's doing this, writing a confession. Ivan says, if what Trump did was actually meant to force hidden corruption and secret wrongdoing into the open, it could legally fail within a president's constitutional powers. I don't think any of this stuff was done like that. Trump is good, but not that way. You understand what I'm saying? There's something very, very, I'm not believing this story. I'm not believing this. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't. I don't buy it. I don't. What's the word? I don't believe any of that stuff. Remember, let me ask you a question. If Tyler takes the stand, if Tyler takes the stand, do you have any idea what he could say? Do you have any idea of what he could say? Just Jessica writes, with kids these days, snapshots would be believable, not texts and letters. Yes. Yes. Now, what about this? How do you authenticate a text? Authentication is the number one rule under 901, under all of these wonderful ideas. I have something. If I have this thing, if I have here, what is it? It's a document. It's a card. It's a writing. It's a picture of a writing. It's a photocopy of a writing. It's a lot of things. How do I authenticate it? Operation Arctic Frost used the Biden FBI to investigate financials of TPUSA. If they found the fraud that Wolves in Finance found aimed at Tyler Boyer, the FBI have an asset on the inside. Yeah, that's true. But what I'm telling you is, and let me just say this, Fergus, and I thank you for this. The last people I would ever want to have, ever, is, of course, the lint brush, which we'll talk about later. I wouldn't have any of these nyokos, these jadruls inside TPUSA. There's not one of them. I'm going to entrust this guy with anything on the inside. Thank you, Tea Time. Thank you so much. I'm going to have any. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Operation Epic Fury thing on a minute. Okay. You know, it's funny. Epic Fury. Max Blumenthal calls it Operation Epstein Fury. Do you think this was done, all of this, Iran, to get people off of the Epstein story? It's a little far-fetched, but people believe that. Erika Kirk, parody just to kill her, pardon. Erika Kirk, parody just to kill her, pardon. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Now, going back to what I'm saying, in court, I want to introduce something. A document, a picture of something. I'm going to say, state your name for the record. My name is so-and-so. My name is, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 1 for identification. Do you recognize what this is? Yes. What is it? This was the letter I found, and it was there at the scene. Is this a true and accurate depiction of what was found that day? Yes. Is this that letter? Sometimes it would say yes, because remember on Perry Mason, I left my mark. I put a mark on this. I put something on it to indicate, yes, that's it. So that's what it is. Great. So this was the argument. Terrific. Now I've got to be able to say, I want you to authenticate, is this Charlie's handwriting? Just because it's signed Charlie, how do I know this? Who could I get to do it? Somebody familiar with his handwriting? I can get a relative. I can get a friend. I might be able to get old Luna. Do you recognize this? Yep, that's Charlie's handwriting, all right. And then you have graphologists who come in and they look at the paper. They look at how deep the impressions, the angles. I mean, they come up with things you cannot believe. Then you have to ask yourself, in terms of a screenshot, where is the original? There's something called the best evidence rule, which says you always have to introduce the original document. If it's a writing, if it's a picture of a writing, you have to be able to introduce the original. I don't want copies. Over time, there's some exceptions. But here's the thing. You know this. Welcome, new member. Who believes anything from a computer? Who believes anything? If you sat, imagine this cross-examination. Detective so-and-so, yes. I'm going to show you something. One of these, do you recognize this? One of these is a real instance of Charlie's handwriting which I retrieved from your witness, Luna, or Lance, or whatever. And one of these is AI. Can you tell me the difference? One of these is legit. One of these, I'm going to have one of you. This is your handwriting. Did you know this, sir? We had you instigated, you signed a particular, let's say something in the file, maybe a request or an affidavit. I took your signature and I wrote this. This is you confessing to it. Look at it. Does this look like your handwriting? By the way, here's a picture of you with the rifle on top of the building. That's also AI. Can you see anything wrong with it? So you tell me, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, when they tell you they found a screenshot or they found a document, can you tell me, are you able to tell me that you believe this? Can they authenticate this? No. You know the expression of pictures worth 1,000 words? Not anymore. Not anymore. What are we going to do with this? Why would I even believe this? Why would we believe this? And then we get into other stuff, which is terrific. If it gets to the point, let me ask you this question. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, they want you to go back in that jury room and to face two things, basically, on that they think they have. Number one is an admission, and number two is the rifle itself. We have a rifle. They claim there is DNA on that rifle. We've asked for, and I think at this particular point, evidence of where did you get this from? Why do you say this? Letter was burned but remembered per FBI. Yes. And also, by the way, Jessica, they also have people who remind you of it. They have summaries. Well, it's not really, it's a summary. I give you a summary. A summary? Yeah, it's not the real lab and the real, but it's a summary of it. That doesn't work. And by the way, this judge better grow a pair, because remember, this judge has to run for re-election. And he wants to make it to retirement. He wants to get out. He's probably thinking, I don't want this case. This is how cases are, judicial reputations are destroyed. He doesn't want this case at all. He's stuck with this piece of crap. But he's got to do the right thing, but he can't kill it. He can't be too fair, but he's got to do something. So here's my point. Let me ask you. You're my jury. I'm talking to you. What evidence do you have of anything being linked to that rifle? Please go ahead. Take all the time you want. I'll save you time. Nothing. They have the jacket of a 30-06. Really? Imagine that. They think it is. Okay. How do you know that is from that rifle? Well, there were some shell casings that had writing on it. Yeah. And by the way, if there's anything that can really be forged, it's a shell casing with writing, because nobody writes on shell casings. Nobody does that. So whatever it says, you're going to assume it's, well, the guy who shot it. You're going to try to link a shell casing with it? No, that's not going to work. Let me ask you again. Please take all the time you want. How do you know? You've heard of lands and grooves. You've heard of ballistics. How do you connect anything in the retrieve? We'll get to this in a moment. From that. Next, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what exactly was retrieved from Charlie? There was something that hit his C2 right here. Actually went in the side, went into it. This little hole here, which I kind of think looks like an exit wound, but anyway. And it went and it hit the C2 vertebra. And it just exploded. Exploded upon impact because of Charlie's diet, his superhuman. He's superhuman. Okay. The other version of it hit C2 and then went down to C7 and right at the beginning of T1, the thoracic vertebra. It went down and straight forward. And it kind of was pulverized into atomized little things. And I don't believe it was frangible. So how do we know what that is? We don't. How do we know that came from that rifle? We don't. Let's also look at this. Do you have any of the fragments there? Yes. Maybe look at this. Did you find anything that might not have been metallic? Tea Time says, during TR latest court trial, Tyler Robinson. Fox Live had the heading, Charlie Kirk Killer in Court. Oh, as the headline for hours. Jury selection compromise. I don't know if jury selection is compromised, but I agree with you. That is just so not even alleged. Jim Conway says the chaos is part of the play. Oh, absolutely. In fact, just let the freaks discuss this. But I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, did we find anything in there? Did we find any pieces of plastic? Did we find anything in him that might have been perhaps the shards of, a microphone? Anything? Detective, did you review any alternative theories that might have explained what was happening? Do you have any other explanations or theories as to devices or items that might have blown up? Then I get, for example, I want you to do this. Then let's assume we really get going here. State your name for the record. Dr. So-and-so Calvin Buttocks from the Utah Fine. What is your expertise? I study the effect on various high-powered caliber rounds on body parts. Great. I want to show you, if you could. Do you have that handy? Yes. What is this? This is an experiment. I have a cow's head, a sheep's head, and those are considerably harder, thicker skull than the humans. Okay. And we have used a 30-06, similar to what would be the round in this Mauser 98. Terrific. And we have thank you so much. We appreciate that. We have from a certain period, the distance that we all agree we have that round hitting this sheep's head, cow's head, whatever it was. Watch this. Pow! No further questions. He's all yours. What are you going to say? That jury was saying, now, ladies and gentlemen, they want you to believe that old Lee Harvey Robinson over there used Granddaddy's shooting iron, the Mauser 98, which, by the way, did you ever wonder something? Remember when they had those dogs sniffing, those gun sniffing dogs? You know why they didn't find anything? You know why those dogs could smell a fish fart? Remember that one? You know why they didn't find any kind of gun that was fired? Because nothing was fired. Because that Mauser 98, Granddaddy's, wasn't fired. They never even checked to see. Whether Tyler had the GSR, the gunshot residue. Nothing. They didn't check his cheek, his clothing, where he would cradle the gun. Nowhere. Nothing. And you know what this is? This is a lint brush. This lint brush was not in any way linked to the awful event of September the 10th of last year. Neither was that rifle. And by the way, if that judge allows that to come into court, that's reversible error. Because that rifle had nothing to do. They're going to see the scope. They're going to think Mannlicher Carcano, Lee Harvey. They're going to think all this other crap. You know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to do exactly that. So that may not even come in, but assuming it does. So I want you to go back, and they're going to have that rifle. They want you to look at it. They want you, look at that rifle. But remember, that rifle, think lint brush, had nothing to do with it. Nothing. They can't link it. It's his. By the way, he's got DNA on it because it's his. No shit, Sherlock. Of course it did. Who are the other 5 DNA? We don't know. FBI couldn't figure this one. We would ask Kash Patel, but he's so gooned right now. He is knee walking, commode hugging, drunk right now. He doesn't know where he is because his country music girl just left him. All right, and he's going to be basically alone. With some Palmolive and an old Stag magazine. It's pretty bad for old what's his name. Now, by the way, I almost said something I'm not. Now, so what do we have? Nothing. We don't have anything. Nothing. Now let's talk about the admission. What was the admission? Did he say he did this? No. Let me ask you something, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Why would you turn yourself in and not tell the cops what you did? What was that all about? Think about that. Hello? Yeah, I'm Tyler Robinson. I'm here to turn myself in. For what? Stuff? What do you mean? Are you saying you did it? No. I'm just turning myself in. Turning yourself in for what? He never admitted it. The bullet was shot from the behind. That's why you see blood exposed. If the shooter shot in front, the bullet goes in the back as per kinetic energy. One would think, but you said the bullet was shot. It might not have been a bullet. That's what I'm saying. And you saw the picture. Candace showed the picture. You saw the picture of Charlie from behind. Nothing happened. There was nothing. There was one. Remember the first couple of days after the first, right after there was a Marine or something. He said he saw some pictures. He said, "Did you see the back?" He said, "Look at all of a sudden. Look in the back. There was this window, and from if I'm looking this way, it would have been here. It would have been to the right in the back. You saw this kind of flash." He said maybe that was a flash or something that was from inside. Maybe this is an exit wound. I don't know. But what I'm saying is there was nothing in the back. There was nothing. You didn't see anything. If that's indeed the. And by the way, you saw what was happening because you saw the look of these people when they were reacting in real time. So, ladies and gentlemen, why wouldn't he go to the police? What exactly are we going to have? And by the way, who found this? Who do we know this? Well, Lance did. You mean Tater or Junebug or Luna? Yeah. Is Luna going to testify? Oh. Luna wants to testify? Luna's not going to like this. Luna's going to have to. Luna, it's like laying the predicate. You got to put Luna on the stand and say, well, where's all this stuff? You found this? Yeah. Did you have any conversation? Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. Take the stand. And you can just sit there. You don't even have to attack this thing. Now, this is Utah. Let me ask you something. You think Utah is a conservative state or a liberal state? You think all those Mormons and all this stuff, do you think that jury would like to hear that Luna is some transgender, some whatever it is? You think so? So Luna, you're you don't have to call it. Would you like Lunar Lance? What's your name? So you were transgender? Is that it? But you're not anymore, and now you're in Texas. Wait a minute, what happened? When did you have a conversion? So you're not transgender anymore. You're living a quiet life with a lawyer or somebody in Texas. So when did you change? That's pretty quick, didn't it? You didn't have any. So you can just switch like that fast. So you're not trans anymore. I see. So you didn't really have much of a commitment to this trans thing, because apparently now you're not, right? Is that it? Yeah. So you want us to believe, let me get this straight, that Charlie risked everything because this transgender thing meant so much to you, and that this son of a bitch was saying all these terrible things about you regarding a condition that you just changed your mind about. You know what? It's a fad. It's like, are you vegetarian anymore? Nah, not really. I'm eating bacon. I couldn't take it. I tried it. So you're not transgender. So this must not mean that much to you. How did Charlie read that so wrong? He gave up his life because you must have been so. Did you ever talk to him about this? Yeah. Did you really? It offended you, didn't Charlie offend you? Did it offend you because you were so committed to this transgender lifestyle, right? Isn't that right? Yeah, but not anymore. You changed your mind. Interesting. Oh, by the way, I want to talk to you about this. Did they ever offer you any kind of immunity? We're talking about that again. Do you think so? Do you think, seriously, do you really think, this is important, that they would have charged Charlie, I guess, they charged him, right, with witness tampering, and you're the person tampered. Isn't that something? So you're testifying this. Did you call the police then? Did you do anything? No. Why not? Because if I understand the story, the official story is that Charlie's family said, hey, that looks like Charlie. Does that look like Charlie? What kind of parents are these? I don't know about you, but I'm not turning in my kid. I'm sorry. Okay, you know what? That looks like our kid. Get him on the phone. Come over here. Yeah. I don't want you to tell me anything, but this looks a hell of a lot like you. Don't say anything. I don't want to be put in the stand and say you ever admitted to this. But a lot of people are going to think this is you. Don't say anything. Trust the autopsy with government involvement? No. But remember, you're going to get that medical examiner. Is that everything you've got? Yes. Is that all you found in him, doctor? Yes. Is that it? By the way, thank you. Is that it? Is that it? Is it? You sure about that, right? Nothing else? You didn't find any plastic thing? But going back to this story, this is ridiculous. So Charlie did. So basically, you never called the police, but their family did. Looks like Charlie. And then there was a friend of the family, some cop or somebody who said, well, I'm going to help him. I'm going to turn him in. And then there was that weird sheriff who quit all of a sudden. This is the, put it this way. Remember that weird, creepy, incompetent sheriff in, was it Mesa County or Pima County, whatever it was, with Nancy Guthrie? Remember this guy? This guy was, he was a star. This guy runs. He says, I'm out of here. I'm quitting. This is the chance you could go out with a bang. You could write a book. You were the big lawman. You could have gone to CIA or whatever. You could have been on the, oh my God, you could have written the book. They maybe make a movie about you. The lawman who quit. No, but you quit? Why? Because he knew this case stinks. It's rotten. Get back to you, Luna. You never said anything yet. And they never told you. You never thought it'd be a good idea. I'm calling the cops. No. So what else didn't you tell them? You knew this. You hid this. Let's face it. You knew, according to this, right? Is this what you saw? You got this and you didn't react? You didn't tell anybody? Hell, he's telling everybody else. He's on Discord. By the way, and they've also said, we're not going to use any of these. I love it. So where's the confession from? Boise Jet Guy says, the same sheriff who let Twigs go after admitting to destroying state's evidence. And by the way, the same guy who just kind of quit and went away. So what happens is, if you're a jury, you're going to say, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what's here. And I'm going to put this in, and I want to thank, and by the way, this is what you do whenever you wrap it up. First of all, on behalf of Mr. Robinson, we want to thank you for listening to this. And depending upon what it is, whenever you want, you always tell your client, whenever the jury comes in, you stand up. You stand up first. And if you can get away with this, you could say, on behalf of Mr. Robinson and the defense team, and when I go like this, when I say, no, Tyler, when I go like that, you stand up. We want to thank you. And if Tyler gets up and goes like this, sit down, objection. Oh, it looks like they're being petty. You're showing respect for these people. Oh, that's great. You always want them to object to you respecting the jury. I told you one time I asked for a voir dire, I said, what do your friends call you? And the guy objected. And the judge says, well, what do your friends call you? He said, objection. He goes, you're objecting to me? And the jury is like, why is this guy being such a prick? He's trying to be nice. These jurors are scared. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't want you to figure out. You're going to go back in that jury room and you're not going to be figured. I don't want you to figure this thing out. Nobody's asking you. You're not a detective. We didn't know what happened. We don't know who's responsible. I don't know if there was a conspiracy, if it was aliens, or if it was Germany or Israel or the FBI or cockeyed cash, or I don't know who. That's not your job. We're not here to do this. You're here to answer one thing. Is there a reasonable doubt that you have? Is there? Or as our friend says, I wish I could. Is it Roman? Your actual name is it is impossible to fit the rifle in the backpack Tyler had. How did he pack the rifle in the backpack? You saw a video of Tyler jump from the roof. Oh, yes, you're right about that. And also we can have, remember, I'm going to have some retired gunnery sergeant, some Marine, who say, here you go. Throw them up in a, Sarge, have at it. Break this apart. Huh? Break this apart. Break this apart. Yeah, break it down. Do you have a screwdriver? You need a screwdriver for this? Yeah. Okay, well, will this help? Yeah. By the way, didn't they find the screwdriver up at the top and not at the bottom? How long does this take? You're pretty good at this, right? All right, go. He's going to take all this stuff and then put it back. And Sparky, by the way, is an intellectual terror. Besant tried to destroy the world economy using a 2009 tariff plan last year. But the world changed too much since 2009, so he's trying the oil angle now. Theories to leave the U.S. at least as the last country standing. You see what he does? This is what Sparky does. Always brings it around. Full angle. I thank you for that. Noam Chomsky says, do you remember when Vin Diesel said, when I saw that waitress was wearing high heels, I knew it was all fake. Yep. Why would she wear high heels? Yep. Little things, little things that don't make any sense. Little things that don't make any sense. But ladies and gentlemen, do you have a reasonable doubt? Let's look at this. Count number one. I have a big poster. Aggravated murder. Has the state of Utah proved beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt that kid, because he's young, he's 20 years old, this guy was responsible for the dispatch, for the elimination, one of the, and also, I'm going to get people that say, I don't care how you phrase this, that was a hell of a shot for somebody who doesn't even use it. He wasn't even nervous. And he did it, and nobody was hurt. And he did it in such a way that there was no exit wound. That is a pretty good shot. Sparky says, BB, hang on a minute, BB's replacement are more extreme than he is. He is the moderate, modern Israeli. You're right about that. And by the way, Sparky, as you know, he's concerned about the which is true, the particular indictment that is hanging over his head, the sword of Damocles, if you will. But going back to the jury box, you're the jury. Do you have a doubt about this? Do you have a reasonable doubt? You need one reasonable doubt. How many would you like? I'll give you one. Nobody saw him do it. Nobody can prove him. Nobody can even show him either holding that rifle, shooting the rifle, nothing. Or that rifle shot anything. That's it. If you read the indictment, or not the indictment, if you read the charge against him, it said he shot him with that gun. And it says the lint brush. There's no evidence of this either. What they want you to do is they want to say, oh, come on, we found, you know, a little thing. I don't care what you found. You could find little cartridges with phrases written in it. You could find a lot of things. You can do whatever you want. It has nothing to do with this. Nothing. What does it mean? How about the confession? There's no confession. He went to the sheriff's office and turned himself in. The reason why was not because he was trying to confess, was because he was afraid he'd be obliterated by some police who maybe broke the door down and said, he's in there, do it. Especially after the plot changed, when he went from this particular phrase about, I'm not going to be taken alive, to, I'm going to turn myself in. See, the narrative changed. And the reason why this stuff doesn't make any sense is they didn't know. So basically, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, they want you to find this guy guilty of a capital offense. And by the way, you normally can't mention the sentence except, I don't know about Utah law, but normally when it comes to the capital offenses, you can sure as hell mention the penalty. They want you to find him guilty because he was there. Do you hear me? You hear me? You hear me? That's it. He was there. You know who else was there? All these people. If this was a real investigation, they would have cordoned that off. They would have said nobody leaves. It wasn't that many people. We want everybody here. We want a picture of every single person here. And they would have been more than happy to oblige. We want to get biometrics of you. We want to get a picture of every person. We want an inventory of everybody who was there. That was interesting, wasn't it, the way they reacted? Wasn't that great too? All of his friends. Oh, you saw him. You saw these TPUSA. Oh, they love Charlie so much. Did they do things like, hey, let's call an ambulance? Hey, let's call 911. Hey, let's get him. No. They had to get SD cards out of cameras. Why? Who does that? And if Erika Kirk, as I mentioned with Barron, if, and this is the most important thing, if for whatever reason, if she were to testify, you don't ask her a question. Nothing. Because she will serve no, I don't even know why she would be there. To identify the body? I'm not even sure. So my friends, this is the most important thing in the world. Look at this. Now you catched. If you justify Tyler disassembled the rifle and jumped from the roof, why did Tyler walk on the street with assembled rifle again? Where is a video evidence online of how he walks with this? You're right. How he took it apart, put it back together again. It doesn't make any sense. And left it assembled. Took it apart, I guess, jumped down, shimmied down, put it back together, and left it to and have the jury see what it looks like for, let's say, a gunnery sergeant or somebody who's an expert to put this thing back together again. It's incredible. You understand this? This is important. Now remember, you must let people, and you must understand there are people who do not want to hear this. You can read them for yourself. And we honor them. They've been more than, I think, polite. Their theories are unique. And you have to hear people. They're going to say that Candace is crazy. This is crazy. We're crazy. Everybody's crazy conspiracy theorists. They are hell-bent on convicting Tyler. And they don't know why. And I don't know. It's hard to figure out why. But remember, I want to hear the reasons why. I want to hear from folks. Tell me why. What are you missing here? How can you have no doubt? Forget who's involved. Forget Charlie. Just look at the facts of the case. How can any rational, reasonable juror look at this and not say, this doesn't make any sense? Period. It can be anybody. They can't. Because what happens is, as is the case with war and news, they will bend, they will twist, they will jam the facts to fit the narrative they want. It's cognitive dissonance. It's the ability to change. Somebody last night on the radio show, by the way, tonight, 2 to 5 a.m. Eastern Time, WABC. I'm doing weekends, which is a dream. Somebody called me, I love this, a tuning fork for the truth. So using that, why can't people recognize what we're talking about? Sparky says, by the way, undoubtedly, 1%ers who make bank by shorting various financial instruments during Besant's actions, since they already have enough, will give the proceeds to the poor in order to bring America back. Yes, you're right about that. Their philanthropy and beneficence will override this. And this is the way that they want to make America first. America first, America only. Now, I'm going to give you the worst part about this. There's one way that this could all be taken care of, and I hope it does not come. And that is if somehow the problem of a Tyler Robinson acquittal is removed by removing Tyler Robinson. And I want a complete and total exoneration and exculpation of him. Not just to be found not guilty, but I want the preposterous nature of this to be exposed. Seriously. That's what I want. That's what means a lot to me. That's what I want. And you have been wonderful. Now let me ask you. I want everybody listening to vote. You are the jury. Do you find the defendant, Tyler Robinson, guilty or not guilty? To vote guilty, hit the number 1. To vote not guilty, the number 2. One more time. You're the jury. Based upon the foregoing, what you know, any evidence source, do you, remember, the number one for guilty, number 2 for not guilty. And Liv says, if put it together, it's no longer cited. Oh, that's another story too. Thank you for that. Now look at this. Look at this. Guilty, press 1. Not guilty, press 2. 2, unless a lint brush. This is it. This is it. Nobody's going to believe it. There is, and I'm not making up anything. I'm using the evidence that I've been told, unless there's some big story that I don't even know. I mean, it blows my mind. Do you see what's happening here? This is our poll. This is it. Look at this. All of you wonderful people, guilty or not guilty? Jamie Burlington, Jamie's a good friend of the show, says, did I just hear, let's take people's money away and distribute it? That's how you do communism. No. That was Sparky being most sardonic. Most sardonic. Now look at this. Do you think all of these people who vote not guilty are somehow what? Are they what? Conservative? Or they're Candace acolytes? Or they hate love Charlie or hate Charlie? Or what? No. Look at this. Now remember, as someone said, we haven't heard all the evidence. Please let this happen. Let us hear all the evidence, everything. And if we have it wrong, and if Tyler did this, then let him be put away or whatever the jury finds appropriate. If indeed that's the case, we want justice. I'm not out one way or the other. Tyler means nothing to me, means nothing to you. But what I want is I want justice for Charlie. Somebody's got to speak for him, not for Erika, not for TPUSA, but for him. He is now dispatched. He has been eliminated from existence. And what he's doing, he is looking down from above and he says, please speak for me. Who speaks for me? I didn't deserve this. Will they buy the jury? Small town? No way. No. No way. No. This is for Charlie. This is for justice. You got that? And that prosecutor, I don't know who they are, but they have been handed something that we're going to find more about this as the case evolves. And we're going to be here every step of the way, using our collective intellectual firepower, being the tuning forks for truth. I love that expression. And I want to thank you, each and every one of you. May I ask you another question? This is the most important. Everybody, please, can we do a roll call? Would you just tell me where everybody's from? Would you just give us an idea? Not your address, of course, but maybe whatever you'd like, your city or your country or whatever it is, to get an idea of where this is from. Look at what we're talking about now. Look at the people we're talking about. Just get an idea where we're coming. This is not big city, little city. These are people from all over the world. Where are you from? Give us an idea. Let's do a roll call. Orlando, Orange County, Nashville. Look at this, Cornwall in the UK, Alberta, Canada, Port St. Lucie, Mets country. Pardon me, Hershey, Pennsylvania. Speaking of Hershey, that's terrible. That is so. Am I childish? Yes, very much so. Earth, Texas, Canada, Florida, Brazil, Goshen, Mass, England, Dayton, Ohio, New South Wales, Australia, Boise, Mesa, Arizona, American living in Thailand. This is incredible. Westchester, PA, Caribbean. Huh? Oh, it's amazing. This is all Scotland, Texas. Look at this. Buffalo. We have the most ecumenical, the most diverse, in a good way, the most heterogeneous sampling there is. And you have shown a wisdom because you're smart. Like my friend Bobby Heenan would say, you're smart. I'm a genius. You're a genius. This is not about anything but the obvious. Remember, your job is not to find out who did it. Your job is to find out whether the state could prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And they can. But if they do, we will be there. And I will be the first one to say, you did it. Justice. Sorry, Tyler. You're SOL, my friend. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. And we thank people like our good friend Barron and the inimitable, the ineffable, the one, the only, sui generis, Candace. Candace brought us together. I mean, I'll also tell you something. We are part of a coalition right now. I don't know what you call this. I don't know. But we're not going to go away once this case is disposed of. We are here to stay. And we are a very powerful and a very vibrant group of people who believe in things like justice and truth. Very simple. Whatever the truth is, whatever, that's it. Because we have been told. And I, in my life, went through, when I was a kid, from the time I was 5 years old until I was 10, I went through, in 5-year period, JFK, MLK, RFK, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, the little girls who were blown up in that church. It was just, I couldn't believe it. RFK. If that's not MK Ultra, I don't know what is. I don't know. MLK? I don't even know what that's about. John Lennon, by the way, which is out of the realm of this. Mark David Chapman? Absolutely. You know, they call us crazy. They call us crazy. They call us conspiracy theorists. Like the great Gore Vidal says, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy analyst. And I'm here for the opposition. And I'm telling you right now, my friends, I've never been this close to voting third party. I've had it with these people. They don't speak for me anymore. Like the great Carol Quigley says, two sides of the same coin. Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi. McDonald's, Burger King. What the hell's the difference? Seriously. Really? What? What are we talking about? The illusion of the left-right paradigm. It's over with. That stuff is, the uniparty is here, my friends. The uniparty. We have so many challenges ahead of us right now, and none of these idiots. I'm tired of people going to war, and I'm tired of us doing proxy fights. I believe in this country. I believe in this country, and I believe in and I'm sure you from other countries believe in yours as well. And I'm tired of encroachers and people who want us to act as proxies, fighting and dying for cases and for issues that have nothing to do with us. I'm not saying these are nice people in the world or we should trust them. That's not it. You know what I'm talking about. So, my friends, I thank you. I thank you. And this, I give you this. This is, of course, hand flatulence. A hand fart to you. This is how I say thank you. This is how I send my love to you. I mean, I could clap, but you've heard applause. But how many people do that? This is the energy of the universe. This is the composite. This is the kind of a reconstruction of my verity vectors. This is how I combat the epitemistic, the vectors of idiocy. And I mean that. I like this one. Sabrina says, oh, how nice. Sabrina says, you and Baron are high IQ outfits. Love you and your sweet wife. Subscribe and share. Absolutely. And thank you for this. You have been so terrific in following Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. This week, she's going to be going to Washington. She's going to be marching with parents again. She's going to be going everywhere. I'm not going to tell her. She'll tell you. But marching on the Capitol to fight for kids, to fight against this digital predation. Thank you for this, dear friend. Thank you for this. Because we have so many fights, and I'm going to do it in my own way. I believe in justice. Remember one thing. I'm retired. I'm a former prosecutor, current trial lawyer, Represent, I'm a member of the bar, Florida bar, New York, New Jersey, DC, Supreme Court. I got my Supreme Court shield or thing over there. I can show it to you later. And they always ask you, whenever you join these, do I defend the Constitution? And that's it. By the way, our friend Susie says, Lionel, regarding cui bono, Charlie would have turned 35 in October of 2028. JD and Rubio's path to POTUS have been cleared of that competition. My money's on JD. No. He is somebody who is the person I do not trust as far as I can throw him. If there's somebody there, you have not seen his name being mentioned so far. Hollis, thank you. I mean that. There could very well be somebody, but let me tell you something. It doesn't matter who he is, because you're going to inherit the Republican Party. You're going to inherit these people, and you're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to be stewarding the helm, driving this bus, this contaminated jalopy. It's not going anywhere. That is basically ideologically identical to the Democrats. And we're not going to put up with this. Okay? But let me tell you what we're on to something. We're on to something which is very interesting. This is going to be an era of redemption, of openness, of a reconnection with truth and faith and virtue, stuff that we used to laugh at. Seriously, morality, family, law and order, truth, education, piety, humility, just decency. We are sick of this. And we're not asking for much. I mean, we just want to be let alone, leave me alone, do unto others, and make it real uncomfortable for people who want to hurt and target the innocent, up to and including the elderly, the innocent, and the children. That's one thing. Because what they're trying to do was, this entire group hid, aided, abetted, and covered up Epstein. They knew about him for years, and he's the tip of the iceberg. He's the tip of the iceberg. You've got Child Protective Services. You've had this modeling agencies. You've had orphanages. Ask Oprah. Ask Sean Penn. Ask these people. Anytime you hear about this, remember this? We've had it. They think we're really stupid. Seriously. They think we're really stupid. I got to tell you this story. There's a friend of mine, very, very, you would call him conservative, kind of rock-ribbed, military type. And he lived in China. And he went there and he goes, oh, Chinese people. And he said he could not believe in a country that big, how many people basically were allowed to live just free. Jamie says, Lionel, I just got here. Can you start over from the top? Yeah, I sure can. Thank you. And he said, of course, he's not going to argue about the Uyghurs, by the way, which is also misunderstood. But anyway, so a friend of his asked him one time, by the way, he's walking down the street, and in his neighborhood or his county, whatever the particular, it's not prefecture, that's Japan, but whatever the designation, the municipal designation is, they had a sign. And the sign said, my name is Lieutenant Chin or Wang or whatever it is. And I'm in charge of this segment or this sector. Here's my mobile number. If you have a problem, call me. This is my division. Basically, he said, I'm being paid well. I want you to let me know. Anybody bothering you, call me. Take a picture. Call me. Don't worry about it. Call me. So he said sometimes it'd be very rarely somebody give somebody a hard time, take a picture. Next thing you know, they're not there. I don't know where they go, but they're not there. Okay. When was the last time anybody told you this? I live in New York City with a guy named Zoran Mamdani. Zoran the moron. And these are the people who absolutely just kill me. Bobby says, keep calling out all the Mysterian grift, Lionel. Absolutely. And so they asked him one time, these people asked, he said, what happens if somebody were to do something terrible to your daughter? Eliminate your daughter, harm your daughter, defile your daughter. What would happen to this person in your country? What would happen to them? And he said, to be honest with you, he said, I mean, they maybe go to prison, but nothing more. He said, He says, you know what would happen here? Because when you hurt one child, you hurt everybody's child. We don't put up with that. And they call us draconian. Hollis says, Lionel, from a legal judicial perspective, how do we change the narrative and revamp the two-party system to try to rebuild America back for the people? We start telling them very simply, we're not going to vote for you anymore. We just say no. Let me finish one thing. We need to go back to that. Every time you vote, every time you say, okay. Look, President Trump, no matter what President Trump do, I'll take him hands down over Joe Biden. But that's not exactly the choice I want. The president, I want to make Trump what Trump was. The Trump that was initially, the Trump in 2024 was, he said, no Middle Eastern wars, get down to basics. That's it. I don't know what happened to him. I don't think he's crazy. I don't think any of that stuff. I don't think. There's something that he kind of like, in some respects, lost his way. And he can get us back. But all I'm saying is, either way, he's done. And whoever comes in, I don't like it. I think for the first time, I'm probably going to vote for some kind of a third party or write my name in or do something else. Because I'm going to say, sorry, I don't want this. Every time you don't go to a movie, every time you don't go to a restaurant, every time you don't go to a city or take a particular route, you affirmatively make an election of what you don't want. And it's almost more important to tell people what you don't want. And pretty soon they'll catch on. I just want, who was it? Sarah Huckabee Sanders said something pretty smart. She said, this isn't about left or right. This is about crazy and normal. This is crazy talk. We are seeing a level of predation. And by the way, we're also seeing this sickness. This Eric Swalwell, this guy deserves, this guy should be, cracking rocks upstate for life. This is a serial predator. This is Bill Cosby stuff. This is serious. And that, who was it, Gonzalez or other? My God, what is going on here? This is not right. And what Epstein did and still does. And let me leave you with this. There's talk about whether Epstein would dare grant any kind of clemency, but pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. I can't even imagine what my reaction would be, much less the rest of us. This cannot be. Period. We have lost our ways. We have lost. Remember the old expression, what would Jesus do? Imagine that, you answering him. Or any particular deity of your choice. Doesn't matter, but just hypothetically. And Jesus said, this is what I left you? I died for this? What do? How do you protect people? I'm not asking you to go out and exact justice. How do you protect people? Well, we're busy. We're busy with sports. People in New York are worried more about the Mets losing the first 10 games than what's going on in the world. Bread and circuses, my friend. Bread and circuses. Thank you, dear friends. Thank you for your love and your incredible kindness. Please follow me at Lionel Nation right here. Please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. We're a team. You get both of us. It's just little old me. This is it. No production team. No nothing. I got me. I got my mic. I got some lights. And I got my laptop. And I got my phone. And that's it. That and this. My brain, no. My forehead. I thank you, my friends. Have a great and a glorious day. We will see you tomorrow. I thank you. You humble me with your support and with your love. I mean that. And until we meet again, remember this, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Oh, by the way, tonight, if you're around, 2 to 5 a.m., WABC is called Another Side of Midnight. Wait to hear what I talk about. I want to freak him out. We'll talk then.